Welcome. Let's have a bit of an autopsy report here on the crypto market. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So we go here to money and we will look at status / US dollar SNT / USD. So this is the website. So private secure communication. Status is a secure messaging app, crypto wallet, and Web3 browser built with state-of-the-art technology. Yeah, this is one of the very interesting crypto, well, more broadly, I guess we could say, blockchain projects. Okay, so we have seen a very substantial correction, but it could become interesting at this point because the blue arrows show that we have reached the blue 100-week moving average. It has been a support level ever since 2020 when it went from being this resistance level to becoming support. We are testing it right here and right now. When we look at the RSI here with these orange, or I guess more golden arrows, we see that we have reached a support that triggered a rally here. Here it formed the bottom, and maybe it will form a temporary bottom right here and right now. So that is the possibility. We have had a very, very substantial correction at this point. Well, more like a bear market, frankly, when you look at the percentages. But at least we expect some mean reversion after this gigantic fall. When we go here to the PPO, which measures distance between price and the red 200-day moving average, this is one of the lowest levels we have had. So just even from a perspective of just basic mean reversion, in this case to the upside, we would expect some kind of a bounce. RSI also reached a level that has triggered some of the previous rallies. That's interesting. So if we do measure some of the previous rallies, okay. So here, we have a very deep oversold RSI, and then we get approximately 140-ish gain. That's obviously pretty good. We also have had some instances where we get oversold and have a far more modest rally. Like here we had 14-15-ish gain before we had we met resistance. The thing is that if we just were to have a bit of a mean reversion rally from this low level here, I mean, you see that we very quickly get big percentages. So here, just up to here, we got 40% rally. If we were to go up here and test approximately the red 200-day moving average, we're talking about a potential 150-ish% rally. So even if we only get mean reversion, we could potentially get some good moves from a more bullish perspective. Looking at the seasonality, June is not a strong month. It is one of the weakest. This is the end of June, though. This is the 24th of June. July, right around the corner, is a very strong month. We close higher 75% of the time. The average gain is very modest, though. But we only have really 4 years of data, so we gotta be a bit careful about reading too much into the seasonality. But at this point, as long as we stay above the blue 100-week moving average, I would lean speculatively bullish. Currently, it would primarily be a mean reversion oversold trade. It could become something more, it could of course be a bottom forming, but so far we have a falling knife, and it kind of has hit one of the key floors. So there's the expectation that the knife will at least bounce a little bit here, so it's not, the risk of picking it up is a bit reduced. Then we go to the king, we look at Bitcoin, the Bitcoin index. So we do see this a head and shoulders pattern here. A head and shoulders is certainly not a bullish technical pattern. So we have left shoulder, big head, and then we do have a right shoulder. The thing is that, you see here around the shoulders, head, and neck, you could argue from a more, contrarian standpoint that we have pretty substantial support. If we look here at the weekly wicks, buying pressure, buy. So there seems to, around here, there's a tendency for buyers to step up. There's a long history of that. And that is, it is not like roaringly bullish, because we do have a very nasty technical pattern, but it's pretty clear historically that the bulls are more ambitious in this current price range, which makes it, more difficult for the bears to give that punch that smashes through that volume shelf. It is plausible for the bears to do that, but that requires, it's more difficult for the bears to do that than these kinds of sell-offs, because here, you just slice through a price region where there's not that much history. But here, there's so much history. On top of it, you also have the blue, you have the green 50-week moving average. You do have the blue 5-week moving average here though, forming resistance. But the green 50-week moving average is pointing upwards, and that is a moving average support that comes to the rescue on top of the horizontal support. Looking at the RSI, we are at a low level. So that is, you could argue that we have had such a significant correction that when it comes to Bitcoin, we could expect some mean reversion potentially to the upside. The statistical correlation between Bitcoin and some of these cryptocurrencies here, it is strong. So you do see that long term there's an 86% positive correlation with status. That is rather strong. So if we do see the completion of a head and shoulders pattern for Bitcoin, to the downside, that would be very bad for status. The correlation long term is frankly too strong. It could, of course, be stronger. So there is some disconnect between them, but not necessarily sufficient for status to be able to rally if Bitcoin falls hard. Looking at Ethereum, you have a whopping 91% positive correlation. That is very strong. You have 89% with Monero, very strong, so they do more or less move together. With Ripple, it's significantly weaker. It's the weakest here. We only have a 70-ish positive correlation. So you could have some interesting situations where, let's say, Bitcoin falls and maybe Ripple doesn't necessarily fall on that. Here we have the shorter time frame with the daily data points. So here you have a 75% positive correlation with status. So they do tend strongly to move together, but it is not like 1-to-1. With Ethereum, you do have a very significant disconnect as of late. So here you only have 17-ish% positive. That is very low. So they have decoupled shorter term. With Monero, you only have 50%. So that's interesting. And you have a 34% positive correlation with Ripple. So the strongest correlation looking long-term and short-term would then be with status. So what happens to Bitcoin will have a significant impact on the price action of status. If Bitcoin were to use the current volume shelf as a support level, that would be bullish for status as well. But if we do see the real head and shoulders pattern develop, then it will be very bearish, even though we have support currently on status.